What's up? Welcome to the last video of the year. School's over, essentially. And it doesn't really feel like that, does it? It doesn't have the same kind of, I don't know, same kind of energy that you would in a typical year. This video, it's designed to do a few different things, so you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit today. This video is designed to kind of put a cap on the year for my underclassmen, my freshmen this year. It's designed to kind of send a final farewell to my outgoing seniors, and it's also designed to address like, hey, what can we expect next year to a certain extent too. So in a typical video, I'm doing Romeo and Juliet or something, and like I have a script I'm working with, and this is just me kind of going, which you know is a dangerous thing. I'm gonna go on some weird tangents, so sorry. First and foremost, I'm gonna start with my freshmen, with my kids this year. I want to take a moment here today to commend you, because I think that you guys really did something unique and something that should be recognized this spring. You had a unique experience because this was your first year at the high school, and you got one semester worth of normal. And then, you know, March comes around and they pull the rug out from underneath you, and suddenly your first year of high school becomes something much different. I'm proud to have been your teacher. I'm proud to have been involved in your first year at the high school. And I know that it wasn't always pretty and it wasn't always easy, but I'm proud to have been involved in your first year at the high school. I'm not just proud of the kids who did all my assignments with 3 days to spare and were asking about extra credit. Well, I am proud of you if that was you. I'm a little bit more proud of the kids who faced some obstacles with this and persevered despite those obstacles. For the kids who this wasn't a straight and narrow path, who had to take the winding path to get through this. I'm proud of those kids. And like I said, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be your teacher, and I look forward to the day that I get to see you guys again in person, because Lord knows I've spent enough time talking to my phone in my kitchen this year. Like, I miss having 30 kids in my room. I went to my classroom yesterday because they asked us to do a little bit of housekeeping to make sure that the rooms were ready for summer. And so I went in there, and it was the first time I had been since March 12th. And it was surreal, because I walk in the room and it's this place that has so many happy memories associated with it, and it feels like home for me even still. And I walked in that room, and immediately all I could think about were the people that weren't in that room, and the fact that that's what makes that room so meaningful to me, are the people who sit in the chairs. And when it's just me in that room, it doesn't feel the same. So I really look forward to the day that I get to see you kids again. For my outgoing seniors, I really didn't think that, March 12th would have been the last time I'd see any of you guys. And who knows, maybe I'll see some of you guys around, and we got like the graduation stuff coming up. But I want to take a minute to kind of explain some things to you guys. One of the things I know I'm guilty of is choosing to bite my tongue when someone means something to me for the sake of being cool, I guess. Like, keeping up this kind of exterior of like, yeah, no, it's whatever. Yeah, yeah, see you, bye. When really, like, you guys meant something important to me, and I want to kind of explain that so that you guys get a sense of where I'm coming from. My knee-jerk reaction with the seniors is to talk about how sorry I am for you guys, how unfair this has all been, and how I wish I could fix it. But something tells me you've heard a lot of that this spring. So instead of kind of hopping on that bandwagon, I'm going to tell you guys what you meant to me, because you represent something kind of special to me. In order to tell this part of the story, I have to now go on one of these weird tangents and kind of go a little chaotic here. So bear with me. We gotta go back a year, exactly a year from now. It's spring 2019, and they asked me to chaperone the 2019 senior sunset. And I obliged, I went, and I'm standing there the night of with myself, Mr. Bumatai, and Miss File. And we're standing around, and some of their kids come up. Kids that I, maybe I've seen, maybe I know a couple, but they've never been my kids. And they'll go up to either, File or Bumatai, and they'll go, "Oh my God, dude, the class was the best thing I ever had. You were my favorite teacher. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss this place so much. Oh." And me, not having been their teacher, I don't really have a place to join in that conversation. So, when you do that thing where someone else is talking to your friend and you're not a part of the conversation, but it's also weird if you just light up and leave. So I had to stand there and just kind of be like, I did a lot of that night. And a group finally walks away and leaves us alone again. And Bumatai leans over to me and he goes, "So next year is going to be your first group, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yep, next year I'll know the seniors. Yep, uh-huh." And he goes, "It's going to be rough." I'm like, "What do you mean rough? It's a celebration. It's going to be this beautiful thing." He's like, No. It's emotional seeing your first group kind of spread their baby bird wings and fly away off into the distance. And so that thought had kind of been in the back of my head this whole year, going all the way back to you guys coming in and getting your schedules and your school pictures and your ASB cards, and then school starts and you got serpentine and homecoming and all these things. I, for the first time, got to see seniors that were kids that I had taught, that I had known, that I consider my kids. And to see so many of you really just flourish into these incredible individuals who had taken these prominent roles and become these wonderful individuals, it was a point of pride for me to be able to say that I had some small part in that kid's experience. Even if it wasn't the biggest part, I had some small part, and that's my kid. And that was a first for me to be able to see seniors who I considered, my kids. Going back, again, messy storytelling, sorry. Who knew English teacher had no structure? Going back even further, when I had you guys as sophomores, I was only fortunate enough to maybe have 65 or 70 of you in total. But when I had you, you represented something special to me. You were my first group that really felt like you were mine. And what I mean by that is the year before, I was at a different high school. I was over at Monroe. And the first half of that year, I was an intern. I was a fresh out of college kid who was just getting his feet wet and kind of figuring out what teaching was like. And when you do that, you get set up with a teacher who's going to be like your mentor. And so they say, "All right, Maynard, you're going to work with Mrs. So-and-so. And Mrs. So-and-so kind of hands you the keys and says, "Here, take my kids. Work with them, practice." And so I had some classes over there and I loved them. They were awesome. I had some amazing kids, but they weren't my kids. They were somebody else's, And then after the internship ended, there just so happened to be another position at the high school that opened up where one of the teachers couldn't finish out the rest of the year. And they said, "Hey, how about you take over for Mr. So-and-so?" And I said, "All right, awesome, great." And I taught the rest of his class, and those kids were awesome, loved it. I look back fondly on those groups, but again, they were someone else's kids. I just kind of taught the rest of the class. So my first year at Snohomish, that was the first time that a group really felt like mine. And I can't take any of the credit for that group because you guys were what made that group special. I still, to this day, look back on those sophomore classes and it legitimately, not just saying this, it legitimately warms my heart. Some of the things that we did in that class, some of the things that we experienced as a group, it was amazing to me because it really showed me that teaching was something I loved, not just something I was okay at. It was something that really was a passion of mine and something that I wanted to do the rest of my life. And that was because of you guys. I look back on those experiences, those moments, and there's not a moment that I don't look back on fondly. You guys made that class something that brought joy to my life on a daily basis. Some of you were, little brats, but I love you anyway. And I look back on those groups and I don't know, there was just something special about you guys. And like I said, I'm proud to have had even the smallest little part in your 12 years of public education. And I'm really excited to see where you guys go next, because I know there's some amazing people in this group who are going to do amazing things. And I'm proud to have been associated with you. And I wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations. For the rest of us that aren't graduating this year, who are going to be back in the fall, there's a lot of uncertainty about what that'll be like. And I know you have a lot of questions, and I share a lot of the same ones. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of answers yet. We kind of have to wait and see. And I know that that's something you're probably rightfully sick and tired of doing, because you've done a lot of that this spring. The one bit of solace that I have is that I know for a fact that we learned some important things as teachers, administrators, and as students over the last 3.5 months of doing this very weird foreign thing that we just did with distance learning. And I know that the lessons we learned are going to apply to next year, and that we're going to be better prepared as a result. So if you have questions over summer, you can always shoot me an email or a message on the Mr. Maynard Instagram thing. No guarantee I'll have an answer, but I'll try and give you whatever clarity that I can offer. The one bit of certainty we do have is that it's going to be summer, and we're going to get to take a little bit of a break. You get to have a couple months here to recharge the batteries, as it were, and kind of just let yourself off the hook finally after a really stressful, chaotic experience this spring. And I know I'm looking forward to that just as much. My batteries could use some recharging too here. The one thing that I am looking forward to is, regardless of if it's day one or if it takes a little bit longer, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. I've missed having a room full of kids to share a laugh with, and to joke and to teach and to learn and to grow with. And I'm really looking forward to the day that I get to have that back in my life again. I think we all are looking forward to having a little bit of some normalcy again. I'm probably going to take a break from being all over the place on like the Mr. Maynard Instagram or the YouTube or anything like that. But again, like I said, if you need me, reach out. I'll be there. As we wrap things up here, like in a typical year, this is when we'd be in the room together and you'd all be staring at the clock in the corner and counting down the seconds. And I'd be trying to keep your attention just as long as I could. And then that last bell would ring and you guys would go sprinting out my door. But you guys, the bell isn't ringing right now and you're already out there. I just want to take a minute here today to say that I wish you guys nothing but the best, and that I look forward to seeing you again. Okay? So, I wish you guys a happy summer, and I'll see you soon. Peace out, Cub Scouts.